What is up, everyone? I'm really happy that you took the time out of your day to stop by to check out today's video. I think you're going to really like it because it's not often that I see or hear of a launch and I'm like, oh, I've got to get that one. But I don't actually own it yet. It's on its way, but I was so anxious to get my hands on it and get my first impressions out there that I actually borrowed it from my good friend Ash of Jensen's, and that is Montblanc Explorer Platinum. We're going to talk about why they call it that and look a bit more into the new release and find out if it's going to be something that you might like. So I'm going to give you guys my first impressions. That and more is coming up, so stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to my first impressions of Montblanc Explorer Platinum. It doesn't take much for me to get excited about a fragrance, but I wasn't really that excited when I first read about the launch of Explorer Platinum. And the reason behind that is, well, let's talk in terms of chronology. The very first Explorer, Montblanc Explorer, was kind of a dark horse. Not a ton of people knew about it when it first came out, but it slowly trickled down when people started purchasing it and experiencing it. And one guy turned to his friend and said, "Man, this thing is a banger. You gotta try it out." And another person said, "You know what? It smells so much like Creed Aventus." And then, of course, that bolstered sales, and here we are today. Now, again, the fragrance stands very much on its own, but it does smell very much like Creed Aventus, but in a good way, not in a, clonish way, and more of an inspired by kind of way. So we've got that, and then when it was announced that there was a new Explorer coming out, and that is Explorer Ultra Blue, and this bad boy came out. And when I say bad, I'm not necessarily being metaphorical. I don't want to knock it. There are quite a few reviewers out there that say this is a really good spicy fragrance, but I am not necessarily one of them. It's okay. If I don't have anything else, it's there, then I might wear it. So it's not off-putting. It doesn't smell bad. It's just kind of a meh fragrance to me. So when I heard about Explorer Platinum, I was like, well, okay, is it just going to be more of the same? I could not have been more wrong. In fact, this one here is very much like going back to the original Explorer drawing board and just adding to an already great fragrance. And so it's just a really wonderful flanker, and we're going to discuss why that's the case. Now, because I did borrow this, I'm not going to film an unboxing, and we're not going to look at the batch code and all that stuff, because this is his. He's already talked to you guys about it in his video, no doubt, but I do want to show you very briefly. On the inside there is a QR code, and this is a 60 ml bottle. Now, Montblanc is coming out with 3 different sizes, and this seems to be the case with most brands now. They're switching from 50, a lot of them are, from 50 to 60, which is good news for us because you're getting a bit more. There's 30 ml, 60 ml, and 100 ml. If you're already one of my loyal viewers, you know that I like to talk about what inspired a fragrance, because it kind of gives you an idea of the direction that they're going for, if they were successful or not in doing that. The original Explorer is all about exciting adventures that one can have while traveling, and this is about a specific region, and really about 2 hemispheres of the Earth, and that is the northern and southern hemisphere, and that's what this sleek bottle is supposed to signify. So what we can surmise is this is equivalent in fragrance form to the snow-capped Italian mountains, the wild berries and herbs one might find there, and the coniferous trees that one might find there, the cedar trees, right? So that's what's represented in the fragrance. So we know what the bottle looks like. It's very much same as the previous, Ultra Blue. This actually looks more like Ultra Blue because it's silver instead of the black of the original Explorer. It has a similar leather strip going around the bottle, but I do kind of like the look and the pattern of the original Explorer a bit better than this. The divots or dots on it are just bigger, and it doesn't look quite as sleek as the original does, but it's not bad. It's not bad. So aces for keeping the presentation, and it's just a silver, nicer, aka platinum, silver platinum version of it. But what about the notes that make up the fragrance? Instead of divulging all of the notes that are in the fragrance, Montblanc is just giving us 3 key notes to focus on. So the top is violet leaves, The heart is clary sage, very spicy, and then that base is cedar wood that we talked about. I'm going to go ahead and put your mind at ease in terms of what this fragrance is. It's very similar to the idea behind the original Explorer. This is to be an everyday usage fragrance, okay? It's neither a winter-only fragrance or a summer-only fragrance. This is exactly the same thing. It's a year-round, everyday wear signature scent. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about how it smells. I do want to show you guys how this sprays out by putting... So it's really good quality. I got 2 sprays there. Sprays out a good amount, and I will tell you this, guys, this is one, and I have not yet watched a review of this fragrance. I try not to do that so it doesn't taint my own thoughts, and it's as objective as I possibly can be. So I'm just going to say straight up that this is, and I think other people are going to find this out, this is a very strong, long-lasting fragrance. Okay, so the first time I tried this on, which was over at Ashton's house, and I sprayed it on, and I smelled it on myself the next day. Not only that, but it was evening, of course, when I was over at his house. I went home, went to bed, got up the next day, and as I was moving around in the morning and subsequent afternoon, I kept smelling it on myself, and I was like, that smells really good. That was a very good signifier. So I don't think it's my specific skin chemistry. I think it's actually just the eau de parfum concentration and the way that the structure of the formula. So obviously this has much more in it than just violet leaves, clary sage, and cedar wood. But those 3 key signifiers, those 3 key notes are what buoys and carries the fragrance. I am definitely getting leather, and that's what I really like about this fragrance, is it feels like it's pulling that same leather note that's in the original Explorer. Also getting a good bit of ambroxan. What I like about this that the original Explorer doesn't do is it takes that intense, very ambitious, we'll say, formula that's very voluminous, and it adds an icy coolness to it. And I think that's what they were going for in terms of the adventurous Italian snow-capped mountains, capturing that spirit and that elegance. And I think they have successfully done that in Platinum. I don't want to oversell it. That's just my experience with it. I really like it and I really enjoy it. However, I will say this, it is a mature fragrance, and I don't mean grandpa mature, and I don't mean like older man mature, but I also don't mean 20 years old mature. That might be a bit off-putting to some. In one of the photos, it shows like a guy's glasses, like aviator glasses, a wallet, and a bottle of Explorer Platinum. And I feel like that's a good concept because it's kind of like representing someone that just came home from work, pulled his wallet out, threw it down, took his glasses off, and there's this bottle of Platinum sitting there because he sprayed it on when he went to work that morning. So it's somebody who's decently well off, who's self-sustaining, and who is a bit older, someone in their 30s and on up, that would be wearing this kind of fragrance because it does have that mature bent to it. And a lot of leather fragrances are like that though. So in terms of longevity, I have to give it to Montblanc. Explorer Platinum is a beast. And in terms of scent bubble, you can smell it very easily and it's very easily transferable. My wife actually got on me because she kept smelling Explorer Platinum on the top of our dog's head. We've got a Yorkie, and he came up to me and licked me once, and it must have got on him somehow on the top of his head, and she had to wash it off. It was that powerful. So it's a very well made, long lasting, daily wear fragrance. Is it going to be something that you'll want to buy? Well, right now you can get it at Harrods. There may be other websites that carry it like Sabina and others, but you can get it at Harrods for $106 for a 100 ml bottle. I would say that's actually very well worth it. You're getting a long-lasting fragrance that smells very reminiscent of the original Explorer, only icy cool and a little bit more elegant, a little bit more refined. There's definitely elegance and refinement in the original, but you're getting just a bit more of that kind of cool refinement. I don't know why I thought of 007 when I first smelled this, but it's a very Bondish kind of fragrance. Someone who might drive an Aston Martin, has black tie events and affairs that they have to go to, you know, in their little black book. That's the kind of idea behind the fragrance in terms of what I'm getting from it. I think they did a really solid job capitalizing on the original while going into its own kind of direction. I think people are really going to enjoy this one. Give it a shot, give it a try, sample it first. I always recommend sampling it first, and then that way you can see whether you want to go all in. But I do like the fact that you have 3 choices. You've got 30 mil, 60 mil, or 100 mil, and the price will drop exponentially for each. But having said that, this is definitely going to be a future cheapy gem. So when the price drops, which Montblanc is wont to do, given time, 6 months or more, when the price drops and this is like a $30, $40 fragrance for a 100 ml bottle, that will be a fantastic deal. So it definitely should be on your watch list if you don't want to buy it at full retail as a future cheapy gem. That's a wrap on my first impressions of Montblanc Explorer Platinum. If it sounds like I'm taken by the fragrance or that I really like it, I do. It is a solid fragrance and it's really easy for me to recommend it to you. However, as I do with everything, please try a sample first before you get that full bottle. If you already had a chance to try out Explorer Platinum or you already own it, got your hands on it, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Guys, thanks so much for stopping by to check out today's video, and as always, thank you so much for your continued support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.